today for FMCG sector, we make more than 85% or almost 90% of the molds by value. And the balance 5 to 10 to 15% are for the medical and pharma sector. Toy industry is a very different kind of an industry. It is very price sensitive. The very fact that a small mold maker from Hyderabad is able to supply throughout India and export to many countries, that itself tells volumes about Vasanta's capabilities and capacities. There were a lot of contributions from our side where customers could patent our designs. Maybe about 10 years back, people would have felt that whether Vasanta is encroaching into their arena. My converters would have felt that. But today market has grown many times. And even the molders today, they have got their own tool rooms. So today we export 50% by value. So we are known for taking the challenges because as I mentioned, we bring in lots of technologies for the first time. If somebody says, I am importing this, can you make this? We'll say, you don't import, give it to us, we'll make it. The customer has to decide whether he wants to, within Europe, he has to decide whether he wants to go to a European tool maker or Vasanta in India.
Now, the next thing, you should be exporting molds to China. What is the scene there?
Yes.
Well, are you doing some exports there, or are you importing something from China?
No. In fact, we export molds to China maybe since 10 years. What I would say is to a person, any person who wants to import a mold, he should really think whether he should really import that mold. And why not? He can handle somebody, he can handle some small tool maker and have it developed for him. Maybe he can wait for one extra month or 2 extra months. But he is helping country to grow in that sector, in that particular sector. Today, again, that is going to happen because nobody wants to travel. So already people started looking at local sourcing. So now March onwards, nobody's talking about banning the plastics, but perhaps they want to use more plastics because of the hygiene sector. As such, this is not the time for all-out expansions because you never know, I mean, what kind of turn this is going to take. Other thing to my molding friends is, please do not import the molds. This had been my slogan in every show almost.
Yes.
So we are here to serve you. Please do not import the molds.
Vasanta Tool Crafts, established in the year 1989 in Hyderabad, Telangana, has successfully designed and manufactured over 3,000 high-precision critical class 101 high-cavitation plastic injection molds and supports major multinationals across the globe. With over 500 employees and turnover of over rupees 200 crores, it has 5 plants. Vasanta has pioneered many breakthrough innovations in the design and manufacturing of plastic injection molds and has one of the most sophisticated facilities in Southeast Asia, exporting 50% by value. Vasanta today specializes in bioinjection molds using different technologies, stack mold and cube molds. We very warmly welcome on the show Mr. Enugu Dayanand Reddy, founder and managing director, Vasanta Tool Crafts, logging in from Hyderabad. So glad to have you with us today, sir.
Namaskar, Nidhi. Good morning to you. And thanks for having me on your show. So good. I mean, last month we could have been in your elite program, but for the COVID. So you had been networking us all the way for many years now. And hope this will also help in that direction.
Yes, sir. That's my calling. So one step ahead. Mr. Reddy, I've always wanted to ask you this, but in our conferences, we probably never got to speak. Right. What was your calling to start this entrepreneurship? How did you jump into this? How did the bug catch you, as to say? Share us something about your journey, sir.
Yes. Okay. Basically, I'm a mechanical engineer with a post-graduation in tool design and manufacture. And right from my graduation days, I wanted to be on my own. And create some employment for my local people here. In fact, we had some small mechanical engineering business. Maybe that might have prompted me like that. And during my college days in the graduation, I used to spend a lot of time in the workshop, spend time in the midst of the machines. So then that prompted me to opt for a post-graduation in tool design and manufacture, because tool design and manufacture deals with the design of molds, press tools, jigs and fixtures, and also the precision manufacturing of the same items. So I did this post-graduation from Tool Room and Training Center, Delhi. There also I used to spend a lot of time in the mold design and manufacturing, etc. Then I was selected by Siemens Mumbai,
Yes.
1987. And in those days, Siemens had a highly sophisticated tool room with lots of high technology, etc. And that gave me very good exposure, how a good tool room can be, or how a high-tech tool room can be. But since I wanted to be on my own, in 1987, after spending 1 year, I resigned the job and then came back to my home state, which is Hyderabad, and then joined a small-scale industry to get local acquaintance here. And after 1 more year, I started approaching APSFC. In those days, it was State Finance Corporation, just for a 1 million rupee loan. And they took almost 1 year to sanction me that. And at the interest rate of 21%. So almost double of today, or more than double of today. But then yes, so finally, Vasanta came to an existence in the month of August in the year 1989. So that's how we started Vasanta Tool Crafts.
Excellent, sir. So machines is what really makes you happy. And
Yeah,
amongst
absolutely.
machines is where you find your real calling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Vasanta is in all segments of injection molding. Do tell us about the coverage of your organization in domestic as well as exports, and which segment of the industry are the main drivers for the growth of your organization?
Initially, we used to make molds for any item, any small items, etc. That was a survival period. Even we used to make sheet metal dies. We used to make jigs and fixture. Yeah. So somewhere in the mid-90s, when the core sector was going down, we were introduced to FMCG sector through SL Propack. So in fact, that's how we entered into FMCG sector. And around 99, we started making molds for Unilever. So then our focus sector itself has become FMCG from then onwards. And from 2002 onwards, in fact, that started adding to our growth. And then today for FMCG sector, we make more than 80-85%, or almost 90% of the molds by value. And the balance 10 to 15% are for the medical and pharma sector.
Yes.
This is how we began our journey into FMCG sector.
Excellent, sir. Another vertical is the plastic toys, major area which earlier India has been neglected, but the Prime Minister issued the quality control orders and has laid out the industrial corridor between Delhi and Mumbai for encouraging that industry. Are you considering this as a possible expansion for your product line?
Not immediately, but as I said, yes, this is on the Mr. PM's agenda. In fact, in one of his speeches, he was talking about it. And toy industry is a very different kind of an industry. It is very price sensitive. So you need to have an organization where overheads are low, and even your equipment is not high value equipment, a good equipment, but with lots of efficiency. So that you can be competitive in the market. So because toy market, as you know, anybody can get into it, but in an organized manner, there are not many people right now in India. So one can get into it. As far as Vasanta is concerned right now, that's not on our agenda, be it for the mold making or for the molding.
Thank you for honestly sharing that. Mr. Reddy, you're supplying closures to various segments, including pharma, as you said, of course, FMCG. Some of your closures are highly specialized. Are these designs created by yourself or they are given by the customers?
No, what happens is, as far as the product design is concerned, there are kinds of three possibilities. One possibility is that my customer, either the converter or OEM, whoever it is, He gives me 2D or 3D drawing, and I make the mold as per that. The second possibility is customer comes to me with a sample, and I reverse engineer it, generate the drawing, and then I make the mold. So third is where somebody walks in with a just sketch or an idea in his mind, and he says, I want this closure. So we give engineering shape to it after listening to him and after understanding his requirement. And then we take it forward until we prove the mold and deliver the mold. So
out of
this
these
is
three,
the kind of contribution.
Out of the three, which is the most common one, which is the option which is mostly followed?
No, today sometimes, in fact, we are also engaged at the early stage. So somebody may not know that we were also involved in the product development. And the product can go to 4 or 5 mold makers as an RFQ because they're supposed to collect quotations from 3 or 4 people, etc. So our involvement can be at different stages. So even the product drawing which customer brings to me, that might have been developed by somebody. So I can say it again depends on the case to case, but maybe each case could be about one third each of our business.
Understood, sir. Understood. Do share some of your favorite innovations which are very close to your heart, and what is that you're very proud of, which you would like to share with our viewers?
In fact, the very fact that a small mold maker from Hyderabad is able to supply throughout India and export to many countries, that itself tells volumes about Vasanta's capabilities and capacities. But we have been bringing, as I keep speaking at elite shows, we have been bringing lots of new technologies, which are for the first time into India, be it bi-injection, be it high precision stack molds, be it in-mold closing, be it high cavity arc turners with valve gates, and high-end steels, conformal cooling. Normally, globally, very few tool rooms have got this in-house facility. We have conformal cooling in-house. So today we specialize in bi-injection molds using different technologies, be it co-back, rotary, and cube. And then we also specialize in spray caps using our laser cusing technology. By using laser cusing technology, we reduce the cycle time. So that's how our molds run at 30% faster compared to my competitors' molds, or the molds which used to run earlier, say 10 years back or 15 years back. Today, our molds for spray caps run at about 30% faster.
Yes, I remember the video that you'd shown at our summit. I remember that.
Yes. So these are some of the areas, but of course, going forward, we'll be doing more molds on the cube and stack platforms, again for bicolor or bimaterial or sometimes tri-injection also. So we have been doing even some tri-injection molds wherein you can inject 3 colors or you can inject 3 plastics and have your product to your requirements.
Extremely interesting. Any new innovations that you have actually gone through in this pandemic time, and the market should be seeing it very soon?
Not really, but as some of the customers, in fact, about a year back, we got in touch with some of our big customers where they wanted to have a big stack mold. In fact, recently we have invested on a 800-ton net stall machine, which is with accumulators, which means I can inject plastic at very high injection speed and pressure. So this can be used for either for thin wall components or for a flat components, which is very good for stack molds. So we were working on a project for stack molds, and this, in fact, this machine arrived somewhere in March, but due to COVID, it could not be commissioned in the month of March. So recently we have commissioned. So this is one area where we are going to focus in the next 6 months to 1 year. And we want to create high cavity and where you need high pressures, etc. requirements from the machine. So we are going to use our net stall machine for this requirement. So this will be a focused area in the near future.
That's the Crossmafire machine, right?
Yeah, net stall and Crossmafire, they belong to same group. It's from Switzerland. Yeah.
Mr. Reddy, are the patents held by you or by the customers for whom you've designed?
No, in fact, we don't own today any patents. There were a lot of contributions from our side where customers could patent our designs. So these are in the areas of child-resistant caps. Some of the customers have patented our cap closures. Even some closures for the carbonated drinks. In fact, recently, one of my customer design made by us, mold developed by us.
Mr. Reddy, is the interaction when you're working with the end users, with the brand owners, or it is with the converters? I've always wanted to know that. How huge is the involvement with the end user itself?
Yeah, it depends. Like the way I said, at the stage of product development, there were three possibilities. Similarly, for the business also, sometimes, most of the times, all these big MNCs, big FMCG MNCs, they directly approach us, and we participate in the development, right from early stage or even after the product drawing is ready. We give them the quotations, and then we start developing proto molds, pilot molds, and then the high cavity production molds. And in some cases, it could be converters also, because they may have sometimes turnkey projects, like a bottle and closure they want to develop. So bottle somebody may do, and for the closure, they may come to us. So this is one more possibility. And but most of the cases, either it would be the customer or it would be the molder who contact us for their requirements.
Okay. What is your view on the market for the lotion and spray pumps that has really come up in the pandemic? Are you making molds for this?
Yes. In fact, it is today's topic. Many people have approached us, and but this market is right now, it is very, very much hyped about. So, but I feel this may stabilize at about 30 to 40% higher than what it was during the pre-COVID days. Mm-hmm. But we have been doing molds for this, at least for past 10 years for this sector. And we have done lots of molds. In fact, a lot of molds have been exported also.
Okay, excellent, sir. Are you also having stock of molds for the houseware or other items in that category? And is there a concept of renting out molds? Does that exist?
In fact, somebody was also asking me this. Is there a possibility? But in our sector, perhaps in FMCG sector, because every closure is designed specifically for a company and specifically for a product. So I don't think we can have a common closure. There are some common closures, but again, those molds are relatively busy, like they keep running every day because it's a common product. Yes, yeah. So answering your question, this may be very good for the houseware industry, etc., and where you have common plants located all over and mold moves from one plant to other plant in that kind of a situation. But in our case, most of the molds are owned by the OEMs or the converter directly. So since the ownership lies with them, there's no such thinking right now. But in future, we can't say if there's any generic design, we may do that. So
always an opportunity.
Yeah.
Mr. Reddy, you yourself are also a converter now. Is there any conflict of interest with the converters, because you're also making molds for them and you're also a converter? That thought came to my mind.
True. Yeah, but it's not anymore. Maybe about 10 years back, people would have felt that, whether Vasanta is encroaching into their arena. My converters would have felt that. But today, market has grown many times. And even the molders today, they have got their own tool rooms. So I can't say that you cannot have a tool room. Yes. So yeah, so market is for everybody. And then if all of us can have our own pie of the market without cutting into other markets or other segments.
Okay. After the molds have been worn out, right, are they brought back to your tool rooms to reuse?
Not always. This happens very rarely, because these molds are quite heavy. So it's not that every time you can bring back the molds for any repairs or refurbishment, etc. But what happens is, this is a joint call taken by our customer, our converter, and ourselves. So 3 of us meet. Some of our MNC FMCGs have got a policy called a refurbishment policy. So there, our technician goes. There'll be one mold manager from MNC, FMCG company and converter. We sit and we assess the damages in the mold that might have ran already about 5 million shots or 4 million or 6 million shots. And they want us to come and assess this situation. So at that point of time, jointly we decide whether we should go for a refurbishment or it's not worth going for refurbishment, let's go for a new mold. So such decisions are taken at that point. But as far as the repairs, etc. are concerned, we have technicians. Now we have technicians in Europe, we have technicians in USA. Like they go there for commissioning. When I supply the mold for the first time, he is present over there for 3 days. He commissions the molds. He trains the people if they are not aware of those particular technologies, etc. And whenever there's a call, it's kind of an after-sale service. If there's some trouble somewhere, he also goes and attends them. So this is how we have positioned ourselves as far as after-sales is concerned.
Excellent, sir. With the service across all continents, I think that is a huge USP.
In fact, yeah.
Yes.
So today we export 50% by value. So,
what other USPs of your organizations you think make you stand apart? I did listen to the 30% higher speed, which converts into productivity.
Yeah, that is cycle time. Our first USP had been like a quality. Right from the day one, right from our first year of inception, we have been talking of quality, quality, quality. So in fact, in the shop also, we speak in terms of 5 microns, 10 microns. So finally we end up maybe at 20 or 25 microns like that. So it's always, our focus had been the quality. And perhaps we feel we are here today because of our quality, which we put into the molds and which we deliver into our molds. And the next USP can be, as you mentioned, cycle time. Most of our molds run at lower cycle times compared to the competitors' molds. The technology which I mentioned just a few minutes back, the laser cusing technology for conformal cooling, of course. So here we take the water close to the walls of the plastic so that the plastic gets cooled faster, and by which you can reduce the cycle time. You're not only reducing the cycle time, you are taking out the internal stresses, your consistency within the shot, consistency of the quality between the parts within the shot and shot to shot quality is very good. So these are some of our USPs. And otherwise, we are known for taking the challenges because, as I mentioned, we bring in lots of technologies for the first time. If somebody says, I'm importing this, can you make this? We'll say, you don't import, give it to us, we'll make it. So we take such challenges head on. And even now, with Europeans today, we compete head on. So customer has to decide whether he wants to, within Europe, he has to decide whether he wants to go to a European toolmaker or Vasanta in India. So such
that's Atmanirbharta to its base.
Absolutely. So such an attractive pricing we may give, and of course quality they know already because most of them are using our molds for many years.
Wonderful, sir. I'm so happy to hear this. You know, now the next thing, you should be exporting molds to China. What is the scene there?
Yes.
Well, are you doing some exports there, or are you importing something from China?
No. In fact, we export molds to China maybe since 10 years.
Yeah.
So what happens is some of the big MNCs, big FMCG companies, they decide somewhere in, say, sitting in UK or US or Switzerland, that Vasanta will make 4 molds, one for India, one for Indonesia, one for China, and one for Turkey or wherever, or Europe. So likewise, we started exporting to China long back. And there are some customers whose head offices are in Europe and US, they ordered the molds on us, a single mold, and that was exported to China.
Very glad to hear that again.
Yes, and those molds are performing so well. Now those customers, they want to consider us for repeat molds. And one more thing is, just recently we have come up with our sales office in China. We need to see how it is going to go. But
it's going to work very well. So yes. Please shift your focus to that a little bit more.
Yes. So we have put our salesperson there now. So for past 6 months.
Excellent, sir.
After the COVID days.
Why is it then some of the converters in India are still importing molds from across? I know they are. Is the
Yeah,
price the issue? Because I don't
exactly.
think quality or service could be an issue at all. What is it?
Exactly. There are two, three reasons. So for few sectors, some of the converters are the owners. They do not want local capability to get developed because that may lead to a lot of competition among their products. But that may not work now. So even they may look at local tool makers now. And another thing is, as you mentioned, it could be the cheap price. Price, because if somebody wants to launch a project, somebody wants to start a new project, for him cost is a big concern. And also the time. Your Chinese tool makers, sometimes they give crazy timings. So the project cost and the project time, implementation time. So these two things can get reduced. So then people can think that, okay, initially let me go for those molds. Once my product is successful, I can go for a high quality or high cavitation molds, etc. All that. So that can lead to that kind of a thing. And another thing is sometimes the capability or capacity does not exist. Some of the automotive components, we don't have today such capabilities and capacities. But again, people are looking at establishing them now. And this is one. But what I would say is to a person, any person who wants to import a mold, he should really think whether he should really import that mold. And why not? He can handle somebody, he can handle some small tool maker and have it developed for him. Maybe he can wait for one extra month or 2 extra months. But he is helping country to grow in that sector, in that particular sector.
Correct. And I think localization is what the whole world is
Absolutely.
after
Absolutely.
pandemic.
Because today again, that is going to happen because nobody wants to travel. So already people started looking at local sourcing.
Excellent. So I think our industry has a very bright horizon going further.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mr. Reddy, how do you see the outlook for India for your business in the next 1 year? I'm not going ahead because pandemic has taught us that don't plan too long. Earlier we used to say 5 years horizon, 3 years horizon. Now I'm just saying for the balance of the next 2 quarters and maybe 1 year more.
Yeah, this pandemic has created some problems. At the same time, it has also opened up some avenues or opportunities, especially in our sector, FMCG sector. The hygiene segment of FMCG has picked up very well. In fact, we are making good number of molds and we are exporting those molds. In fact, we are making good number of molds for that sector now. So at least for 6 months, I don't see any problem. And even with this impact or backlogs, etc., all that, even for the next 6 months, I don't see much problem. So this sector is going to grow and we are deeply into that sector. So Vasantha may not have much problem.
Excellent, sir. And I think this pandemic, our industry has really come up as a front warrior. I'm so proud of being a part of this industry because we've converted this challenge into an opportunity and helped the humanity by providing and being functional right from 1 or 2 weeks after the pandemic and being essential services for most of the places. So people have now considered plastic industry as being a very, very high on the pyramid than what they used to consider earlier.
Yes. In fact, one of the good thing it had done is, if you remember, everybody used to speak about not using plastics. If you just talk about until February maybe or until March itself. So now March onwards, nobody's talking about banning the plastics, but perhaps they want to use more plastics because of the hygiene sector. But,
yes, absolutely.
But as you said, this has changed a lot of things.
Yes.
The way we are doing the business, even doing the business remotely and all such things. And if my advice would be like, if some business house is little messy, this is the time you set it right, be it quality wise or be it technology wise or in any segment. And if you have little money, you can still invest because you may get the equipment or the machinery at very attractive pricing. But as such, this is not the time for all out expansions because you never know, I mean, what kind of turn this is going to take. But if you have already planned something and you're executing it, if you can execute it that way, you can execute it. But yes, this has also given some industries some hope. And as I said, hygiene sector was one of that.
Excellent. Even the packaging sector.
Packaging, hygiene and packaging both. Yeah.
So this pandemic has made us all think a lot, kind of do a lot of internal thinking and actualization.
Right.
What has been your takeaway? Because I know you think a lot, you're a thinker. And what is it that you would like to share with our colleagues who are watching this session?
Okay. So first of all, okay, I mean, as far as Vasanta is concerned, I shared this in some of the shows, but for past few years, we had been thinking of doing some, or say establishing some shops in Europe and USA, because as I said, we export 50% by value. So most of the customers, they are happy, but then they say, what if something happens? What kind of support you are going to guarantee us by having something here? Then we started looking out for some shop in Europe, and then we met a team. They were working with some other company. That company was getting closed, and they came to us. They visited Hyderabad. They spent 2 days here, and then this happened last year. So then we are coming up with a company by naming it as VTW. In fact, this stuff belongs to KTW. So, and this plant is going to be just 2 kilometers away from KTW in Austria. It's central north portion of Austria, and a place called Weidhofen. We are coming up with about 35 to 40,000 square feet greenfield project. The local government, the local authorities, and the municipality has been very cooperative, and they've extended a lot of things to us. And already construction has started. It's at about 30 to 40% level now. Maybe by first quarter end, the equipment is going to be in place, and April 2021, we may start off those operations. And that's a very good thing to happen to Vasanta, because we are there in Europe. So that would help us in getting some technologies here and also using our facilities. And apart from that, we are just available at the doorsteps to the customer. And
I'm so happy to hear this. And I think this is the show that you are actually sharing with the industry, that you are you have 5 plants already here in India. So this is
these are in Hyderabad itself. We have 3 tool rooms in Hyderabad and 2 molding shops. Some of them are small and some of them are big. And we are also coming up with a small tool room in commercial tool room in USA. Basically, as I said, the focus had been to support the customers. And then they would also like to make small molds over there, and large molds they'll pass on to Hyderabad. They may do the engineering there. They may do the testing there, but manufacturing can be done here. So this is how we are going to integrate the services. And answering your question again, I would like to give one small advice to the youngsters here, people who want to become entrepreneurs, etc. Unless you have, it's not that your uncle or your father or somebody is into business, you should get into the business. So unless you have that passion, to the highest level of passion, if you have, then only you get into it. Otherwise, wherever you have passion, whichever sector, it need not be what you have studied. It can be different also, but you need to pursue your passion, not because somebody has started, so you want to start. So this could be one small piece of my advice. And the other thing to my molding friends is, please do not import the molds. This had been my slogan in every show almost.
Yes.
So we are here to serve you. Please do not import the molds.
Yes, sir. This message should go loud and clear to all our converters. They'll be watching this show. And what you really said about the passion is very correct, sir, because it is very easy for youngsters to just kind of move into the family business. Our industry has a lot of business houses. Like I myself is a BTech in electronics and communication. But over the period after working with Reliance, I realized that this is what my passion was. And God's grace, I think you follow your passion, you love, and it is no more a job anymore. It is work is also kind of pursuing your hobby. So this message is very clear to the youngsters. Even you've done it. You're such a good example of you felt happy with machines. And look what you've done, not only for your organization, but you've made India proud by making the world acknowledge India's quality. That is what you've done for us.
Yes.
Very many congratulations for
your
USA as well as your Europe expansions. And the next one, sir, you must put up a tool room in China also.
Okay. Let's hope.
That is going to be our hope from you. And you've always stood for someone who I think, sir, I've been associated with you over the years for our injection blow molding summit, and whose work speaks. That is how I've always perceived you.
Yeah.
And we are hoping you to kind of take over the world. Thank you so much for this session.
Thank you.
And through this session, I've myself learned a lot about the mold making industry. So
Thank you.
we shall connect to you soon, sir, on the other side.
My pleasure. My
Thank
pleasure.
you again.
Thanks for having me on your show. Thank you.
Thank you.